Hello? game is very Diablo inspired. Yeah, I'm busy, Scotty, remember?
Yeah, I know.
Well, thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna play games for a bit and then clean up and go, okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm just farming materials for the next update, which should be supposedly soon. That's all I'm really doing right now. Beaten this game countless times. Hello. Now, to answer your question, I talked about it in the Discord. Scarlet Nexus is a weird game. I didn't really like it. I played it a couple hours. Felt like Wish.com Tales. I think that game was a lot worse if you cared about the story. The writing was really bad, and most of the cutscenes weren't even animated. Just like visual novel, still images. People were expecting a little bit more than that from a full-priced $60 game. I don't know, the combat just didn't really vibe with me. Some people like that game, some people hate it. I can't really tell you to not buy it, but I personally didn't like it that much. I know you tend to care more about story than I do, and the story in that game is really dumb, and even if you like it, somehow it's told in the cheapest way possible. The constant... You know how in Japanese games they talk like way too much to explain something that like a normal person would do in like a couple sentences. What's worse about that game's story is that the budget is all over the place. It looks nice, but when you're in cutscenes, like 90% of the time, it's just still images, and they talk forever, so... You know, you're watching like an anime or something, at least there's like visuals to look at when you go into that usual Japanese media thing of talking too much to explain something that shouldn't take that long. You're literally just staring at nothing. It feels like an audiobook in some ways, which I'm not saying audiobooks are bad. Audiobooks are great, but you know, when you buy a $60 game, you don't really want to see that, you know? You want to see them, like, actually animate a cutscene instead of, you know, watching still images for hours and hours while they keep talking. It's a very awkward game. I don't think it's too unrealistic to expect a game to be, you know, have more effort put into the cutscenes when it's $60. You know, I would expect that for, like, you know, this game I'm currently playing. I would expect it for this. This doesn't have $1 million budget, millions of dollars put into it. I get that, but For a $60 game, you expect a little bit more presentation. You spend a lot of time looking at still images while they talk. It's not very interesting. Oh, was Code Vein like that too? Like, zero budget story presentation? Like reading a comic book, kind of. It's also got a lot of padding as well. You can tell that, like, some point when they were making that, the budget must have gotten cut, like, tremendously. I'm glad they still shipped the game, but it definitely ran out of money really fast. Rise was like that too. The production values in that game was incredible at the start, but then at the end it became kind of like Scarlet Nexus, where you're watching a bunch of still images, but it's like made worse by just being, you know, Japanese media where they talk too much to explain something that's simple. Like if you were isekai'd into their world, you could explain that shit, like, way quicker. Like, it's a lot harder to stomach that when the production values are, like, $0. Scarlet Nexus was worse than Rise, though, in that regard. The Rise that happened a lot more towards the end of the game. The last, like, quarter of it. The budget just completely ran out. It's blatantly obvious. Scarlet Nexus is pretty much like that. Like after the first anime cutscene to like introduce you to the world and stuff. Zero budget. I don't think things like that are as bad when they happen at the end, because it's like you're probably going to see the game to the end anyway. When it's at the beginning, it's like, I don't know, man. You should blow your load on the budget at the beginning. The people will be like more likely to stick around. Scarlet Nexus is kind of like, no. The game shows its true colors of having a lack of budget a lot faster. Glitched. Oh, I didn't play Code Vein. I can't comment on that. I didn't play that game. No comment there. Can only comment on what I did play, which was Scarlet Nexus and Arise. It's kind of a repeat thing that happens with Bamco games that aren't Dark Souls. Meaning all the anime stuff, Tales games, Scarlet Nexus, God Eater as well, they all have that problem. They reel you in with it'll be like a really nice, professionally made anime cutscene that's nice to watch even if you don't care about the story. And there's like a lot of variety at the start, but then the budget goes to shit after you've already invested, dozens of hours into it. And it's always immediately noticeable. Dragon Ball Kakarot was the same thing. That game has some really good cutscenes, but then as you get farther into it, it's got those Dynasty Warriors 9 style cutscenes where it's just the characters standing around and talking. They're not even animated. But it always happens after you've invested a lot of time into it. That's how most of their games are. The FromSoft stuff they put way more money into, so that usually doesn't happen. But everything else they make, it's the most common thing that always happens with Bamco games. But yeah, this past couple years, Scarlet Nexus, Arise, Dragon Ball Kakarot have all really had that problem. Just $200 budget after you've been playing for 10 hours. It sucks because people play those games for the story. Hey, that's fine. I'm definitely not that kind of person, but it sucks that they really catfish you with really big production values in most of their games, and then it always takes a dump towards the end. At least Scarlet Nexus was up front. Hey, yeah, we were supposed to get a bigger budget for this game, but Bamco typically cheaps out. The game's up front about it. You got to appreciate the transparency, because you get hit with those still image cutscenes barely an hour into the game. It's already happening. The usual Bamco game, that doesn't happen until you're halfway through usually. Dynasty Warriors 9 had that problem too. But that was just not very smart game design, where they thought that making that many different story modes was going to be effective when you have 90 plus characters. I always tell people, if you want to care about the story in Dynasty Warriors, the best one is 7. 7 has way better production values than 9 does. 7 only had 4 story modes. 9 had dozens. And there are barely any actual animated cutscenes. It's mostly people standing around and talking. Like you're watching CNN or something. Not very appealing. They're saying that Origins is supposed to have storytelling on par with Dynasty Warriors 7. I'll believe it when I see it. That game is pretty hard to top. I really enjoyed the story in that game. I have my doubts that is actually going to be true. Especially because you're playing as a custom character or somebody that wasn't actually there. But we'll see. stage. It's always great when he does that right in the center. Oh well. Cheap-ass boss. They need to nerf that boss. It's like the most unfair boss in the game. All the other bosses are fine. It's him and the guy, the second to last boss currently. When he does the electricity attack, if you get hit by one of those, you're like guaranteed to die most of the time. Unless you have a build with a lot of health. You're guaranteed dead. Anyway, let's play something else. Yeah, that boss is really unfair. I don't know why they patched the game like 10 times and they never do anything about how unfair that boss is. They refuse. I remember when they announced Dragon Ball Kakarot, they were they did a very good job hiding the usual Bamco budget dump. They showed like the best cutscenes, and then like when you play the game, those cutscenes are like like several hours that you play. They're not frequent. The trailer straight up is like false advertising for that game. That's just how it is if you play anything from Bamco that's not a FromSoft game. The budget takes a dump really fast, or either that or it's a slow, agonizing decline. The whole point is to like have the entire, his entire Goku's life in one game, but then when you actually play that game, it's like this should have been like a Final Fantasy remake, at least 2 or 3 games. So they could actually have, more than one good cutscene every 6 hours. There's like one enemy type in that game too. You fight the same robot constantly. Seems like with their stuff that's not FromSoft, they want the most profit with the least budget. It was really apparent in that game too. The character models look great, and you do get a nice cutscene. It's really high quality, but you're actually playing the game, you're fighting the same generic red ribbon robot. 30 hours. I don't know, Tales games actually didn't used to be like that. Like, Rise was kind of an exception. Previous Tales games usually had a decent amount of the anime cutscenes, like, throughout. Shit budget was mostly for bad monster variety. Reset. He ran off. Oh, fuck playing this then. That's such a dick move. Not only do your weapons break in that game, they put enemies in that small hitbox character that you can't hit consistently. It steals something and then runs away. It's like they hate the people that paid $50 for that game 20 years ago. Why the fuck would you put that in? The fact that if you get stuck in a combo, your weapon breaks is already harsh enough, but then they put in those wolves that just steal your stuff. What kind of game design is that? You just hate the people that spent hard-earned money on that game. It's like when that I don't even know what it stole, but I wasn't gonna risk saving the game and lose a weapon. When that happens, the wise thing to do is turn it off.
クレアのこともわかるかもしれない。
うん。王の盾の目的も聞きたいところだ。彼女が隠れていそうな場所を探そう。
ミリッツァもかわいそうだよな。 王の盾にしか居場所がないなんて思い込みもいいとこだぜ。
そうかしら。
そうさ。それに居場所と言ったってトーマはお前たちを騙してたんだろ。
トーマのことは許せない。正しいとも思わない。でも王の盾はハーフの私を認めてくれる唯一の場所だった。
そんなに珍しいの？
私は今までに一度もハーフの人に会ったことはなかったけど、ごく稀にいるって話はお父さんから聞いたことはあったわ。
ヒューマとガジュマはめったに恋をしないってこと？
そんなの当たり前でしょ。ヒューマがガジュマとだなんて。
なあヒルダ、居場所ってやつ、それって人から与えてもらうもんなのか？
え？
俺にはそのハーフってことの辛さや苦しみってのはわからない。でもな、俺なら自分で居場所を作ろうって思うんだけどな。無理やりにでも。
そうそう、僕たちの仲間になった時も自分で勝手に決めたんだもんね。
自分で居場所を作る。
Actually, that was something that was talked about a lot when Kakarot came out. It's like people that don't normally buy the non-FromSoft Bamco games. They're like, why is there only one enemy type? I'm like, where are the cutscenes? I'm like, first time? That's what you sign up for when you buy a non-FromSoft Bamco game. Budget is going to take a dump at some point. Sometimes with like Scarlet Nexus and Kakarot, they're up front and transparent about it. Other times it's like Tales of Arise, where you get wowed by the presentation and the set pieces and stuff, and then all that goes away the longer you get into it. So if that's like why you're playing, I don't recommend buying too many Bamco games day one. Unless it's FromSoft. If it's FromSoft, you're safe.
ねえヒルダ、
The
君
budget
の持
and
っ
the
てるそのカードっ
presentation, the
て
enemy
何？
variety and stuff is
占いのためのカードだ
consistent
けど。
from
ずいぶん古いものみたいだけど、誰かにもらった
stuff
の？
like this. No, that does not
さあ
happen.
ね。
They put their games like 90% off after 6 months anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
なあベグ、お前ハーフに会ったことはあるか？
いや、ヒルダが初めてだ。お前はどうなんだ？
俺もさ、ヒューマとガジュマの結婚なんて聞いたことも考えたこともなかったよ。なんでだろう。同じ人だって思ってたのに、なんでそういうことを考えなかったんだろう。なんかイライラするぜ。すごく嫌な話のような気がするぜ。
ああ、そうだな。
Don't know what to do right now. Classic Tales problem where the skit that's supposed to tell you where to go is locked
ヒルダさ
behind
ん
all
って
these other
おいくつなんですか？
ones, and you can't skip them,
私
can't speed them up.
私は21だけど。
大人ですね。
It's always been a
あんたは？
problem with Tales. It's like
私は
these are
15歳で
supposed
す。
to
そ
give
う。
you more
まだまだお
character
子様ね。
development and comic relief and stuff, but then sometimes there's like 10 of them in one spot, and if you don't sit here for like 30 minutes and listen to them all, you can't ever see them again.
ヒルダって何歳なん
I
だっ
always
け？
thought skits were like one of the worst things about these
あれ
games.
僕い
Mostly,
けないこと
the
聞い
skits
た？
themselves
女
are
性に
fine.
年齢と体重を聞くの
It's
は
the
マナー違
pacing
反
and
よ
the。fact that they're missable
覚
that's
えて
really
おきな
bad.
さい、坊や。
何
It's
それ
like the sixth
子
unique
供
one.
扱
I
いし
can't
ない
get
で
the
よ
one
ね。
that's telling me where to
そう
go.
やって怒るのが子供の証拠よ。
Jax, that hurts. Stop it. Stop it. Ow.
ユージーン、あんたはハーフのことを知っていたのか？
ああ、多少はな。だがお前たち同様ヒルダに会うまで実際にはハーフは体が弱く幼くして亡くなる子が多いと聞いたことがある。そういう意味ではヒルダやミリッツァは幸せな子だと俺は思うが、お前たちはハーフのことをどう
How
思
many
う？
more are there?
最初は驚いたが、俺たちと何が違うというものでもないだろう。
ああ、そうだ。だがそう思えない人も多い。
なんでだよ。何がいけないって言うんだよ。なんだよ、嬉しそうな顔して。
いや、お前たちのような若者がいればきっといつかはな、疑問や怒りを感じたお前たちの気持ちを大切にするんだ。
ミリッツァもいなくなったみたいだし、さっきの女の人を探さなくっちゃね。
隠れてそうなとこ隠れてそうなとこっと。
Oh, you're just not gonna tell me where to go, huh? Great. Just tell me exactly where to go.
「これが全てを焼き尽くす合爆の魔装だ。非用に刺激が強すぎたか？準備はいいな。
うわ
do, it'll probably be that endless event. This endless event that's going on, and then whatever else I feel like. But yeah, my stomach's starting to growl. That's probably why I'm playing like garbage. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back later tonight.